This is Voices in Color, the channel that tells the untold stories, the struggles, and the victories of people whose voices the world often tries to silence. Today, we bring you a story that is not from history books. It's from right now. It's the story of being Black in America in 2025. Still breathing, still fighting, still believing. Because while the headlines fade, the heartbeat of a people does not. This story is about survival, yes, but it's also about endurance, hope, and the relentless pursuit of equality. So lean in, listen close, because this is Voices in Color. America promised liberty and justice for all, but for millions of African Americans, that promise came with fine print. The chains may be gone, but the system still holds tight through redlining, mass incarceration, wealth inequality, and the quiet violence and neglect. In 2025, the average Black family still earns less than 2/3 of what the average white family earns. Home ownership among Black Americans, just 45%. The gap in life expectancy, over 6 years. It's not the same kind of racism our grandparents faced, but it's just as deep, just as real, just as painful. Racism today wears a suit and smiles in meetings. It hides behind algorithms, credit scores, and neutral hiring systems. A young Black graduate walks into a job interview, degree in hand, and still, her name becomes her disadvantage. Aisha, Jamal, names that trigger bias before her voice is even heard. This is what scholars call systemic bias. Racism built into the machine. Not loud, not obvious, but quietly deadly. It shapes who gets hired, who gets loans, who gets believed, who gets to live freely. From Ferguson to Minneapolis to Memphis, the streets remember. Every year, unarmed Black Americans die in encounters that should never have turned deadly. Each name becomes a hashtag and then a memory. But behind every headline is a family, a mother who never sleeps the same again. Police reform remains a dream deferred. In 2024 alone, over 250 Black people were killed by law enforcement nationwide, a number unchanged for almost a decade. We're not just counting bodies, we're counting broken promises. For generations, the Black community has carried trauma in silence. From slavery's psychological scars to today's daily microaggressions, mental health care was a taboo subject, and still, access remains a luxury. 1 in 3 Black adults say they cannot afford therapy, and yet they wake up every day, go to work, raise families, and keep pushing. That is strength, but also exhaustion. The world praises resilience, but rarely questions why resilience is required. Black women carry America on their backs, and yet they are too often erased from its glory. They are the most educated demographic group by degree, yet paid 63 cents for every dollar earned by white men. They lead movements, build communities, and raise generations, often without protection, acknowledgement, or safety. And still, they rise from the boardroom to the ballot box, from the courtroom to the classroom. They rise because they have no choice. Imagine running a race where others started 200 years before you and being told you're behind because you didn't run fast enough. That's the story of generational wealth in America. After World War II, white families built prosperity through homes and education. Black veterans were denied the same GI Bill benefits. Decades later, that gap grew roots. Fewer assets, fewer inheritances, fewer safety nets. And yet, the culture born from that struggle, from jazz to hip-hop, from Harlem to Atlanta, became the rhythm of America itself. In schools across America, the achievement gap is not just numbers, it's futures. Black students are suspended more often, given fewer resources, and face unconscious bias from teachers and systems meant to protect them. But still, they create, innovate, excel, from HBCUs producing the next generation of leaders, to community tutors saving kids one classroom at a time. The fight for education is alive. Because education has always been rebellion. Reading was once forbidden. Now it's liberation. Through every storm, Black art, faith, and music have been the refuge. Gospel, blues, jazz, soul, hip-hop. Every note is a survival song. Faith became armor. Art became weapon. From the church pews to TikTok screens, the message is the same. We are still here. Creativity is how we heal, how we protest, how we dream. When the system says no, the rhythm says yes. That's the power of Black culture. To turn pain into poetry. The battlefield has shifted from streets to screens. Today, algorithms decide who gets hired, who gets loans, who gets seen. And bias lives inside code. Facial recognition systems misidentify Black faces. AI recruiting filters out names it doesn't recognize. Even social media suppresses content from Black creators at higher rates. Digital racism, quiet, coded, invisible, but deadly. So, where do we go from here? The same place our ancestors went: forward, with faith, with strategy, with unity. We are not begging for freedom anymore. We're building it. Every protest, every vote, every art piece, every story, like this one, adds another brick to the future. Because Black America is not just surviving, it's redefining what survival means. We are still breathing, still dreaming, still rising. This has been Voices in Color, a platform for truth, storytelling, and collective memory. If the story moves you, don't just scroll past. Subscribe, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because stories like this, our stories, deserve to be seen, heard, and remembered. Until next time, keep your voice loud and your color proud.